Session number 6, today we're going to go over retargeting and the 10x scaling strategy. The two things that will literally take you from making some money to making a ton of money. All the things that you've actually seen, the numbers, the huge numbers, the $8,000 a day, the $3,000 a day, the $5,000 a day, was all made thanks to these strategies. Okay, thanks to these strategies, you can actually take your business and literally 10x it in a few days. Now, I know some of you already haven't found yet that successful product. Some of you haven't really found that success yet, and that's okay. This is a process. This takes time. Okay, I'm aware of that. I hope you guys are aware of it as well. This isn't a walk in the park. Okay, so these things, sometimes it can take you a few days. Sometimes it can take you a few weeks. As long as you trust the process, you will eventually find those products. What I'm gonna go over today is what you do when you find that product. What happens at the time that that you are starting to make money. This is basically the plateau that happens when people go into this business and they start to make money and they don't know how to make more money, how to go from that $100 to that $3,000. Okay, how to really make those high numbers. So this is literally the thing that will take you to that once you reach those numbers. That's why I'm really excited, and you should be as well, because this is actually the secrets that all of you are really waiting for, and that I'm actually giving out. Because now, if you use this, and let's say you're making a few $100s a day, using these techniques, you can already make so much more. So, with that being said, let me just take a sip of water. With that being said, it's important for me that you understand basically what makes a campaign work, what makes a product go from like $100 to those high amounts. Okay, now the reason that it happens is that it's not only about increasing budgets. Okay, it's not only about increasing budgets. It's not about if you're spending $10 a day on your ad. It's not about increasing the budget and then spending more money. Okay, that's not how we scale. That's not how you're gonna make more money. A lot of people think that makes logical sense, because if you're spending $10 on an ad and it's making you money, let's just increase it to $100 and will make us 10 times more money. Okay, but you have to understand that Facebook is a complicated system, and it has its flaws, it has its issues, okay, for the good and for the bad. Increasing a budget, playing with an ad set, basically re-optimizes the ad set, re-optimizes the algorithm. So what actually happens is that you have an ad set and it's working, it's making money, it's been running for a few days now, and you decide to change maybe an audience, you've decided to change the budget, you've decided to change a placement on the ad. You've actually decided to edit the ad and change that. What happens there is that Facebook needs to re-optimize itself for that new audience, okay, for that new budget. So even if you change a budget, Facebook actually needs to re-optimize its way that it shows its ad to people. So basically the more budget you put sometimes on ads, it will actually show it to different people. That's why it's not a smart move to actually play with an existing ad. Unless you created an ad and you made a mistake and you want to change it really fast and it hasn't been activated, then you can change it. But most of the time we're not playing with our ads. We're not actually editing our ads. We might eventually increase the budget by really small amounts to get to more people, because if you increase the ad, for example, from $10 to $12, then Facebook optimizes slowly. Okay, and that's okay. If Facebook optimizes slowly, we're not screwing the whole campaign. We're not screwing the whole ad set. But if we just double, triple, change the budget to $50 from $10, then what will happen is that that's such a big change for Facebook that it doesn't really know how to optimize itself in a way that's efficient for you, because it's not only about spending more money on ads. It's about spending more money on ads while not compromising return on investment. Okay, so for example, if you're spending $10 on an ad and you're making, let's say, $20 in return, we want to spend let's say $50 on an ad, then we're $50 is times 5 of 10, so we're waiting to gain times 5 profits. Basically, if logically you think about it, if you're spending $10 and you're getting and you're getting like $20 back, then if you spend $50, you should be getting $100 back. Okay, because 20 times 5 is $100. Now that isn't entirely true with Facebook, especially if you don't know how to scale correctly, because what can happen is that if you scale in that way, is that in a certain way, like increasing budgets or duplicating exact campaigns, is that what can happen is that Facebook can, instead of gaining you more money that you thought you would gain if you increase the budget, you're actually going to lose. Because the optimization of Facebook is that sometimes it doesn't find, the budgets are too high for it. That's number one. The budget might be too high for Facebook to actually find those buyers, or the change in the ad set was so drastic that Facebook has trouble optimizing itself for that new ad set. Okay, a big thing that you want to look at when increasing budgets, when playing, not increasing budgets, but when playing with an ad set, if you're increasing it small amounts, or if you're going to go over the scaling system I'm going to go over now, is that CPM, okay, it's cost per mile, that's cost per 1,000 impressions. You can actually see that on the in the same ad manager. When you go through the breakdown, you can see the CPM, like you can see purchases, cost per purchase, you can see a CPM, and the CPM is actually how much you're paying per 1,000 impressions. Okay, so you can be paying $4 for 1,000 impressions, and you can be paying $30 for 1,000 impressions. Usually the bigger the audience, the cheaper it is to get 1,000 impressions. That's why I'm always like telling you guys to try to target as many people as possible, but while still keeping it targeted. Because the bigger the audience that you target, the more value you're gonna get for your money. So, for example, sometimes if you target like if you target a 50,000 audience, then your CPM might be like $20. You're paying like $20 for getting your ad to 1,000 people. But if you're targeting 500,000 people with the same budget, by the way, then the CPM will be much less. Because Facebook likes big audiences. Okay, the value for money is much higher when you're dealing with big audiences. Okay, that's why when you're targeting really small audiences, the CPM is really high, which is okay sometimes because the audience is extremely targeted, so you don't need to play with the CPM. You don't really care about the CPM. But when you're scaling the ad, it's important to notice what happens to the CPM, what happens to new ad sets, because if the CPM moves and increases, like for example, if you have an ad set for $10 per day and the CPM of $5, it means that you're getting to 1,000 people for $5, which means for $10 a day, you're getting to 2,000 people. Okay, basic math. You're getting to 2,000 people for $10 a day. Let's say you increase the budget to $20. You increase the budget to $20. Now, suddenly the CPM changes from $5 to $10. Okay, let's say that's a scenario. Now, if the CPM changes from $5 to $10, you're actually getting to 1,000 people for $10, which means you're getting to 2,000 people for $20, which means that if the CPM doubled and it doubled your budget, then you literally did nothing but increase the advertising cost, because you're actually reaching the same amount of people. Okay, does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Because the CPM is correlated with the amount of people that actually see your ad. So, enough talking. Let me just dive right into actually what we do, how we go through the process. And for those of you that are already having successful campaigns, that are already making money, I recommend you start using this as fast as possible. For those that are still waiting, still looking for those products, or still looking for that successful product, keep trying. And when you find a successful product, you'll have this reference point, this blueprint to actually go back to. Okay, so let me open this really fast. Okay, now some of you might have seen something similar in a video that I did, but here I'm actually going to go much more in depth in it, and I'm going to talk about a lot of things here that I haven't ever talked about. So first and foremost, you have to understand how Facebook works, like I said before, you don't want to play with the budgets. Okay, if you want to scale an ad, you have two decisions. Okay, you can play with the budget really, really slowly, or you can create an entirely new ad, with a very high budget. Okay, because if, for example, a $10 PPE ad, okay, a $10 PPE ad is making you X amount of money, then you want to make the ad make you more money. You can increase the ad slowly. So you'll increase it from $10 to $12, and then to $15, and I'm talking about like every 24 to 48 hours. So you need to increase it slowly. 12 to 15 to 20, 25, 30, 35. So for getting to $10 to $50 on the budget will take you about probably a week and a half to increase it from 10 to 15, from 10 to 50. Or you can literally do it overnight. How do you do it overnight? You just duplicate the $10 or the $5 campaign and give it a $50 budget. Okay, this you can literally do overnight. What that actually does is that instead of you increasing the budget slowly, you're actually going to duplicate the ad set and you're going to give it a $50 budget. Okay, that's the smart thing to do. So I actually built here sort of a list, a blueprint that I go back to every time I scale a campaign, and this is what has actually given me the results that you've seen. Now, this is how it works. Let's say we have a dog necklace. Okay, this is the dog. Let's say we have a dog necklace. That's our product. Okay, we're selling a dog necklace. Now we have a PPE and we have a purchase and we have an add to cart, for example. Okay, now usually you won't have PPE, add to cart, and purchase. You probably only have a PPE and a purchase ad, or a PPE and an add to cart ad. But just for the example, sometimes you do an add to cart and not a PPE, and not a purchase, because an add to cart has more data on the purchase, like I talked about before. So you might want to do add to cart sometimes, but it depends on the current situation of your ad account. So if you have a purchase, ad, then we're going to go through purchase. If you have an add to cart ad, then we're going to go through add to cart. So basically, let's start with the PPE ad. Now the PPE ad, what you actually do is that if this is like what you see here, this is the number one thing. This is the first ad that you release. Okay, this is a testing ad. Okay, all of you are aware of the testing ad of a $5 to $10. You see here a $10 budget, but it can be $5 budget. It depends on you, like I said. You have the dog necklace PP. Let's say PetSmart. This is just like an interest. You got the age group, you got the state, and you got the placement. Okay, nothing new here. You all know this. Now this is running on an automatic bid. Okay, we haven't talked about manual bidding yet. Okay, this is an automatic bid. Okay, now the automatic bid is just basically the default that you always want to do in your testing. Okay, now let me just get some water fast. Now, you always test with an automatic bidding. When it's time to scale, we'll change our ways of bidding, except for a PPE. So we start with the $10 ad. Okay, let's say it's working good. You see here, if it works, let me zoom in here. If it works, if the $10 ad works, we're actually going to duplicate that in the ad set. We're actually going to duplicate that and give it and assign it only to mobile. Okay, we're actually going to assign it only to mobile, and we're going to give it a budget of $50 to $500, depending on the audience size. Up until like 1.5 million, if you're targeting an audience size up to 1.5 million, then you'll probably want to do a $50 budget. Anything over 1.5 million to 2 million will be about $100. 2 million to 3 million will be about $150, $200, and then the bigger the audience, the more budget they'll probably put on it. Okay, so that's an automatic bid. So if your $10 ad works for you, you duplicate that ad and you go and give it a $50 budget. Okay? Only on mobile. Now, why do we do it only on mobile and not on mobile and desktop? Because we want more room to scale in case this mobile ad works. So by us doing the $10 ad on a mobile and desktop, and if the product is working for us, we're actually going to duplicate that to mobile. Okay, we're not going to duplicate that to desktop yet. We're only going to do it for mobile. If the mobile works, but what I mean by work is that if it's actually making more money than it's losing, then you'll duplicate the mobile and go to desktop. So again, testing ad works, perfect. We're going to duplicate that. We're going to give it a $50 budget. Okay, we're going to give it a $50 budget, mobile, only mobile, and we're going to let that run. Now with $50 ads, you have to let it run at least a full day. This is a PPE. We're still in the PPE, guys. Okay, so this is what you do for a PPE. So mobile, and now if mobile works, if after a day or two it's actually making more money than it's losing, we're going to duplicate that, and this time we're only going to target desktop. Okay, now we're not editing the ads, we're not deleting the ads, we're just duplicating them. We're targeting the same audience, but we're targeting mobile, and now we're targeting desktop. We're going to give it the same budget, okay, depending on the audience size. So the mobile, you want to check, like I said, the audience size. Sometimes the desktop will have a smaller audience than the mobile, so same rules. Anything below 1.5 million audience will be a $50 budget, okay? So that's how you do with a PPE. Now, PPE is a very basic scale because you basically don't do a big scale with a PPE. Most of the scale will happen on the website conversion ads. Okay, so that's where you actually, this is where you actually deal with the high-level stuff. So with a purchase add to cart ad, now I know, guys, a lot of you are actually asking a lot of questions. So don't worry, I'm going to go over some of the questions when we finish. Now with the purchase add to cart ad, we're actually going to do the same process. Okay. We're going to go with the purchase add to cart, interest, age 20 plus, USA, mobile, and desktop, and we're going to give it a 7-day conversion window. Okay, 7-day conversion window. For those of you that don't know what a 7-day conversion window is, I'm going to show you exactly what it is. Let me open up here, Power Editor. Seven-day conversion window is another way to actually create your campaigns. So let's just do test here, conversion. Go to ad sets, and we're gonna just leave it at the default, which is 7 days click. Okay, after clicking ad, you have 1 day click, 7 day click. Some have 28 days. So you want to have it on 7 days click. Okay, that's the conversion window that you want to have it on. So we got this on the this is the testing ad, by the way, guys. This is the testing ad. Okay, this is we talked about this last session. This is the testing ad where you test the product, website conversion. Like I said, $5, $10 on a website conversion ad. Purchase add to cart depending on how much data you have. So basically, dog necklace, purchase or add to cart, PetSmart, 20 plus, USA mobile and desktop, 7 day. Okay, this is the first ad that you do. These are the ads that a lot of you probably are already doing because you have data. Okay, now after you do this $10 ad, this is on automatic bid, by the way. Okay, so again, you have automatic and manual, right? Probably most of you are already doing automatic. You haven't. Probably some of you don't even know what manual bidding is. And that's okay, I'll explain it in a second. I'll actually go over it a lot in depth as well in further sessions. But you have automatic and you have manual. So the default of all your campaigns, of all your assets will be automatic. Now when we scale, so if this ad is actually making us money, we're actually going to duplicate this and give it to mobile and give it the budget that we talked about before. Up to $1.5 million, $50, above that, $100, $200, $400, whatever. The bigger the audience, the bigger the budget. But we're actually going to give it a manual bid of $40. Okay, we're actually going to go to manual bid, and we're going to give it a manual bid of $40. Okay, so Recap. You have a testing ad. The testing ad is working. The testing ad is making you money. You're not closing the testing ad. You're duplicating it. Okay? Duplicating. Everybody knows how to duplicate. You click here, duplicate. Okay, simple process. You duplicate that, and you give that only mobile, and you give it a high budget with a high bid. Now, why do we do this high bid? Why do we do this? Now, a manual bid, what happens in manual bidding is that Facebook basically looks at your bid and decides if you win the auction or not, because we're actually competing with other advertisers for ad space. So when you come to manual, by the way, you want to go with maximum, okay? When actually going with manual bidding, we're actually telling Facebook that this is the amount that we're willing to pay for our conversion. So, for example, if it's a purchase, okay, it's a purchase, we're willing to pay $40 to get a purchase. What that means is that we're telling Facebook that we're okay with paying $40 for a purchase. Okay, we're bidding on that, which isn't true, because if I'm going to pay $40 for a purchase, then I'll probably lose a lot of money, and probably a lot of you as well. But that's not entirely the case when you do that, because when you're actually bidding on $40, Facebook looks at you as a high spender. And as a high spender, Facebook makes you win a lot of the auctions. Facebook sees, oh, this person is a high spender, he's willing to pay that much money for a conversion. We're going to give him a lot of traffic. We're going to give him a lot of impressions. We're going to make him win a lot of the auctions. Okay, that's why a high manual bid means a higher percentage of getting your ad shown to people, which means a higher percentage of you getting sold. Okay, so that's the first thing. Now, $40 is what you want to do when you duplicate your ad. This is the main thing. Now, when you're doing this, you're actually winning the auctions a lot of times, and you have a very high chance of making the ad profitable. Okay, that's why on high budget ads we always do manual. On low budget ads we always do automatic. That's why I don't do manual on $5 ads, $10 ads. Okay, so we got our dog necklace purchase, add to cart, whatever it is. Mobile, don't forget the mobile. 7-day, $50. Manual bid, $40. Okay, simple, straightforward. So until now, let's say we have this dog necklace. Until now, we have the testing ad, we have the duplication. Okay, both of them are running simultaneously. We're not closing anything unless something is losing us money. If this $10 ad is losing us money, we're going to close it. Okay, if it's not losing us money, then we're going to keep it running. Now, the $50 ad, after you release this ad, you're actually going to have to wait about 2 days for it to optimize fully. Because you might, at the first day, you might lose money, but at the second day, you might earn money. Now, basically, how you want to look at it, there aren't rules set by stone, but if in the first day, the ad is losing a lot of money without making almost any money, then you probably want to close it. But if the ad is making money, even if it's losing at the first day, you want to keep it running for another day. Like I said, it's 2 days. You have this ad running. You want to let this ad run for at least 2 days for it to fully optimize. Okay, the mobile ad. 1 second. Okay, so you got this ad running, and a few scenarios would happen. Number one, 2 days have passed. The ad is killing it. The ad is making a ton of money. Excellent. We're happy. We let it keep it running. We duplicate to a desktop. Okay, I'll get to that in a second. Another scenario that can happen is that the ad is just not good. It's not making us any money. It's losing us money. Okay, which can happen. It happens a lot of times. Usually when that happens, it just means that the product isn't really scalable to that level. Not every product that's making us $100 can make us $3,000. Okay, I wish that was the case. It's not that case. A lot of products that are making us a good amount of money can probably make us a lot more money if scaled correctly, but nothing we can do. There are some products that weren't meant to be scaled to this level. So, what happens when the ad isn't making us money? What happens with the ad when the $2, when the high budget ad is after 2 days, it's still losing us money? So what we want to do is we want to reduce the bid in this scenario. Okay. Now, by reducing the bid, guys, we're actually telling Facebook, we're actually deciding how much we're willing to pay for that conversion. How much we're willing to pay for that conversion. Now, what do I mean by that? We have our we have our ad. Okay, now we have the ad at $40. It's been running for 2-3 days. It's not making money. It's losing money. It's getting sales, but not enough sales to cover the ad, and not enough sales, of course, to make the profit. So we need to do something. We have to make it, first of all, you have to understand that the reason it's not making sales is because when we give it the ad a $40 bid and a high budget like that, it will do whatever it takes to complete the entire budget. Okay, because that's the daily budget. Okay, it's going to try to complete the daily budget. Okay, that you know that. With a bid that high, it will always finish the budget. But if the bid was low, let's say the bid is $3, then a budget will not be spent if Facebook cannot find purchases or conversions for that price. It depends on what your ad is on, if it's on purchase or if it's on add to cart. Okay? Because you're bidding on that action. So when I'm bidding $40, if the ad is an add to cart ad, then I'm actually bidding on $40 per add to cart. If it's a purchase ad, I'm actually bidding $40 for a purchase. So after the ad has been running for a few days and it's not really working as we want it to work, it's getting sales, but like I said, it's not enough sales for it to be profitable. We need to reduce the bid. We don't close the ad. Okay, we're not going to give up on it yet. We're actually going to reduce the bid to the amount that is reasonable for us to pay. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Let's say we're sending this dog necklace. Like I said, we have this dog necklace. It's costing us $2. Okay, this dog necklace is costing us $2. We're selling it for $15. Okay, buying it for $2, selling it for $15. Quick math, that's a $13 profit, not including ad costs. Now, let's say on our $10 ad, we're making about $5, not making, but it's costing us about $5 to get a purchase on our $10 ad. So let's say, like I said, the product costs us $2, we're selling it for $15, and the ad is getting us purchases for $5 each. So I mean by that is that the cost of the ad is $5 per purchase. So eventually the profit left from this $10 ad is we're buying the product for $2, the ad cost is $5 per purchase, that's $7 in total. We're selling the product for $15. That means we're left with $8. Okay, after ad costs and after product costs. Okay, so that means that in this scenario we're actually paying $5 per purchase. Now, what will happen is what happens if we change the bid here? Okay, here from $40 to $5, is that Facebook will not spend any money unless it finds the $5 purchases. Okay, this is really powerful. So let's say we let their ad run for 3 days. It's still on the $40 budget. Okay, like I said, it's not been running good. It's been actually losing money, and we decide to reduce the bid. So we're actually going to reduce the bid to $5. What will happen is that Facebook will run throughout the day, and only if it can find buyers for $5 will it spend a budget. So if it, for example, finds for purchases, it won't spend $50 like it should spend because of the daily budget. It would spend only $20. Because every purchase, we bid it on $5 per purchase. So we decide how much to pay Facebook. We decide how much a purchase is worth to us. If Facebook cannot find us purchases for $5, it won't spend any money. Okay, if it doesn't spend any money, then it means it cannot find purchases for that amount, for that bid. Okay, so guys, give me a. I know sometimes this is a bit complicated for all of you. Give me a 5 for those of you that are still with me, and up to here are understanding what's going on. Nice. Okay, we got a lot of 5s. I'm sure we got a 4.5 as well. I understand the 4.5 or -5. Nice. I understand that sometimes this is sometimes a bit complicated, but like I said, this is where it gets deep. This is where it gets fully fully complex in a way that if you know this, you can literally make a ton of money. Now, if it's gonna make you need to watch this 2 times, 3 times, 5 times, I don't care, but I want you to know this on the highest level. So, like I said, I'm gonna answer the questions at the end. So, if we reduce the bid to $5, like I said, Facebook will not spend our money unless it finds purchases for $5. So this is how basically when I'm doing a very big ad budget, sometimes I'm going to do an ad set on $1,000 a day, I'm actually going to give it a certain bid, so it won't spend that money unless it finds purchases for that bid. That way I can go to sleep peacefully knowing that I won't just spend that $1,000. Okay, so same thing with the $50. So we got a $50 bid, a $50 budget, $40 bid. It's been running for 2-3 days. It's losing us money. We're going to reduce the bid to how much a purchase is worth for us. Okay, now I usually take the amount of the purchase from the lower cost ad and put it here in the bid. So for example, like I said, if it costs me $5 per purchase on the $10 ad, then I'll change the bid to $5 on the $50 ad, from $40 to $5. Now what that tells Facebook is it tells Facebook to not spend my money if it doesn't find any purchases for that amount. So you're gonna notice that Facebook a full 24 hours will go through and they will find only, let's say, 2 purchases, and I will only spend about $10 instead of $50. Even though you have a daily budget of $50, it's not going to spend the whole $50. It's only going to spend $10 if it only finds 2 purchases. You have to understand, the daily budget isn't how much Facebook will spend. The daily budget is how much is the maximum that Facebook can spend. Okay? So that's that. Now, after you reduce the bid, you're actually going to let it run for 24 hours to see what's up. Now, 2 scenarios will happen. First scenario, the ad starts running and it actually finds purchases for that amount. And we're happy, we're making money, we're not spending the whole $50, we're spending only about $20 to $25 to $30, but we're happy because the ad is profitable. Okay? Another scenario that can happen is that the ad doesn't spend any money. Okay, the ad is just like running and no money is spent on the ad. You'll notice that the budget isn't spent. It just stays on 0. There's no reach, there's nothing happening. What that means is that Facebook it's not finding conversions for that bid. Okay, it's too difficult for Facebook to find conversions for that bid. So what we need to do in that scenario is that we need to increase the bid by $1, for example. Okay, $1, $1.50. I usually do it. I increase it by $1, and then I let it run for another 24 hours, and then I see what happens. Either again, Facebook will find purchases for that amount, and then we're happy, or it won't spend any money, and then we have to increase the budget again. Not the budget, the bid. Okay, so we'll increase to $7 until we find that spot where Facebook spends our money and spends our money efficiently with a return on investment. Okay, so let me recap on really fast on the process. We have a $10 ad. This is the testing ad. We all know about the $10 testing ad. It works great. We duplicate that to mobile. We give it a $50 budget or more, depending on the audience size, with a manual bid of 40. Okay, we let it run. If the ad is profitable, excellent, it keeps running. Of course, as well, even if the ad is profitable, probably after a while it won't be profitable. It could take a month, it could take 5 months, but eventually it won't be profitable, and then you have to do this process that I'm talking about right now and reduce the bid. So again, if the ad doesn't run, if the ad is losing money, we're going to reduce the bid to the amount that is good for us. So we're going to reduce the bid from $40 to $5 because that's the amount that a purchase costed me on the $10 ad. Okay, that's the amount that the purchase cost me on the lower budget ad. So with that being said, after we're running this ad, okay, if this ad is successful, if this ad is making us money, we're going to duplicate this. Okay, you see if works. Of course, I'm going to give you this blueprint, so don't worry. If this works, we duplicate that, and you guessed, we only go for desktop. So before it was only mobile, now it's only desktop. And we're just going to do the same exact process, guys. It's going to be the same exact thing. We're going to give it a budget depending on the audience. We're going to give it a bid. We're going to let it run. We're going to see what happens. If it's good, great. If it's not, we're going to reduce the bid to something that's good for us. and we're going to find that sweet spot that Facebook spends our money efficiently, and we're on a profitable ad budget. So we have a mobile, we have a desktop. Okay, these two making us money, working good, side by side, profitable, excellent. What do we do now? This is only with this, you already took a product that's making you $100, and you already made it make you at least a few hundreds, okay, $400, $500. So after that, what we're going to do is we're going to go and we're going to send out an ad to the neglected demographic. Now, what does that mean, the neglected demographic? Now, I talked about this as well in a past session where when you release an ad, you'll notice that if you go to the breakdowns, so let me show you what I'm talking about here. So if you go here to the break, I don't have any ads running here, but if you go to the breakdowns, you can go and see ages, genders, age and gender, countries, regions, platforms, placements, and so on and so on. You can see what ages converted, what genders converted, what age and genders converted, countries, and so on. That's why we want to, you'll notice that every ad will eventually optimize for a certain age group and gender. Okay, sometimes it will be pretty divided, like 50-50, but sometimes it will rely heavily on a certain age group. So for example, if you have an ad that's running to 22 to 65, it won't really divide the ad between 22 to 65 evenly. Okay, it won't. It will basically decide what converts the most, and then it will start showing your ad to that specific segmentation. So for example, let's say you send that you have an ad. I recommend you guys, by the way, to do this as well in your current ads. You'll notice cool differences with different products and ads that you'll notice that the Facebook just decides to show your ad more to certain people, to certain ages. So for example, you send out an ad from 22 to 65, and if you open this age breakdown thingy, you'll see that your ad is mostly shown to ages, for example, 25 to 30. Okay, just a random example. What that means is that Facebook is mostly showing you ad to 25 to 30 and neglecting a lot of the audiences, a lot of the other ages. And we don't want that. Even though Facebook decided that that's the most converting, which it probably is, it doesn't mean that the other sections won't convert good as well. Okay, so what we're actually going to do is we're actually going to duplicate the ad, okay, the ad depending on the audience size. So we're going to go ahead and give it a mobile, okay, same thing, manual bid, budget, like this, like we always do, and we're going to release it to that neglected demographic. Okay, so if it's women from the ages of 30 to 35 that the ad isn't shown to them, we're going to send out an ad to them. If it's ages 40 to 50 that the ads aren't showing to them, we're going to send out an ad to them. Okay, so now we have our ads running. We have more ads running to people that aren't seeing our ads, where of course we always on a daily basis want to check our ads, see that everything is working correctly, close anything that's not working, change the bits of anything that is changeable, and continue through that. Now, after that, after we have an ad that is sent to the neglected demographic, we're actually going to create a lookalike audience from the data that we've gathered up until now. So this is, by the way, how you can scale an ad to niches that are only 100K audience. A lot of you have asked me, I can only find 100, 150K audience in total for my niche. How will I scale after I finish the audience? So this is how you scale. After you get about, if it's 300 adds to cart or 1,000 view contents, okay, I'll go to that in a second, you can actually create a lookalike audience from that data. Okay, you can actually create a lookalike audience from that data, and then you can basically target people that are like the people that already got into your website or the people that already bought from you or added to cart. I'm gonna make actually a video on how to create a lookalike audience for those of you that don't know. But basically, it's pretty straightforward. When you go to the Ads Manager, you go two audiences, and then you create first of all, a custom audience from website traffic, and you want to go to custom combination, and then event, and then you can pick, basically, because I don't have this, because it's a dummy store, I don't have purchases here, but let's say add to cart. We have the add to cart, and then we can actually pick the actual item, product. So for example, let's go here, Ninja Deals. See if this works. Okay, so we got this turtle pin. Let's go here. And if we're going to this product, we'll have this pixel helper. I'll go to view content, and we'll have a content ID. So this content ID is this product, basically. So we can actually copy this product, copy this content ID, and go to our ads manager and paste it here. Well, I didn't copy it, but we copy it like this. Then we'll paste it. And then we're actually going to create an audience of everybody that added to cart this product. And we're going to do like 180 days. Okay, I'm going to create a more elaborate video on the lookalike audiences, but I'm not sure this is how you do it. And then it creates a big audience, like people that made an action like this on your website. So, so you do that. You create a lookalike audience from 1,000 view contents or 300 adds to cart. Now you do this. It doesn't have to be on the exact product. It can be on the entire niche. Now, if for example we're in the the turtle niche, what I talked about now. Let's say I have a few products that are selling good in the turtle niche. I can actually combine the audiences of all of those turtle products. So I have this one. I can go to a different product and add that content ID, and then to a different product and add that content ID. Then I'll create an audience that basically added to cart any turtle product. Okay, so after I do that, okay, so let's just say brooch. Let's see if it even let me, even though this is a dummy account. Brooch pen, add to cart. Let's create that audience, and then it will tell me. It will always tell you audience too small, even if it's not too small. You have to let it run for sometimes a few hours for it to update. But then you want to go here, and then you want to create a lookalike. Okay, so then you create a lookalike from the audience, and then you pick the country, which is usually probably United States, and you go with 1%. Okay, so this is actually going to find 2 million people that are similar to the people that actually added to cart from those products. Okay, so we got that. Now after that, you create one from the view content, and you create one from the add to cart. Okay, you create 2 lookalike audiences, and you only do this when you have 300 adds to carts on that specific niche, or 1,000 view contents on the specific niche minimum. So after you have that, you're going to create the whole exact process that I just went over. You're actually going to do that again for the lookalike audience, because the lookalike audience is just an audience. So instead of targeting PetSmart, we're just going to target the lookalike audience. We're going to do an ad to the add to cart, and we're going to do an ad to the view content. Now it's important that we exclude one of them from the other. So if we're going to target the lookalike add to cart audience, we want to exclude the view content lookalike audience. We don't want them to collide. So we're just going to give it a $10 budget, automatic bid, going to let it run. If it works, guess what? We're going to duplicate that to mobile, $50, $40 manual bid, and then desktop, if that works. And literally the same process, guys. The same process I just talked about here, we're going to do for the lookalike audience. Okay? So, guys, can you hear me? If you can hear me, give me a 1. I see some people are not hearing me. Okay. Yeah, so, yeah, okay, I'm getting a bunch of 1s. Nice. Guys, by the way, until now, whoever is still with me and is focused, give me a 6. For those of you that understand what I've been going through, give me a 6 if this makes sense. Okay, we got a bunch of random numbers here. We got some 1s. We got some 2s. Okay. So we got the so okay, where was I? So we have the lookalike audiences, we have the test ads to them. Okay, this is exactly like you did before to the PetSmart. Okay, we got the $10, $5, whatever it is, automatic bid to that lookalike audience. Now, if it works, we're going to duplicate that to the higher budgets, $40 manual bid. And again, we're going to let it run. We're going to see what happens. If it works, good. If it doesn't, we reduce the bid. Okay, same process. No reason for me to go over that again. And then desktop. Now, if these work, we're going to start to scale to bigger lookalike audiences. Okay, so 1%, we're going to go to 2%. We're going to create another one. Okay, we're going to create another one. So you can play here with the percentage. So, okay, this doesn't work for me now, but let me just cancel that. Create lookalike. Cool. So 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%. You decide the percentage. So after 1% works, we're actually going to go with 2%. Now 2% is going to be it's going to be double the audience basically. And then we're going to do, guess what? The same process again. So $10, $50, budget $40, $50, budget $40 to desktop, and so on. And if that works, we're going to go to 3% and then 4%, and so on, and so on, and so on. Okay, now this is basically the scaling system that can literally take one product from $100 to $3,000. Okay, I'm sure for a lot of you, this it makes sense to you that this can actually get to those numbers when we scale at this level, because you're literally targeting every aspect of your audience, and you're creating new audiences from people that are similar to your buyers, to your to the people that took action on your store. Now, there's more to this scaling process, and we're going to go over that more in later sessions. But like targeting other countries and other things that you can do with, of course, email marketing. That's a different type of scaling. We're going to go over that as well. Don't worry. Other than that, I wanted to go over really fast how to do retargeting correctly. Okay, because retargeting is really, really, really powerful, and you want to do retargeting even if you're not making a ton of money, because retargeting is not even about scaling. It's just about making more money from your visitors, because a lot of people that come into your store and don't buy have potential of coming in again and then buying. So if we're going to go to the Power Editor, now this is related to why we did the Google Shopping app and why we did the catalog with the feeds and everything. This is all for that. So to do that, to do a retargeting ad, we're actually going to create a campaign, and we're going to go with campaign objective. We're going to go with product catalog sales. Okay, none of these. We're going to go with product catalog sales. We're just going to call this DPA. And then we're going to actually pick the catalog, which I've showed you how to do in the videos before. Okay, I'm just going to call it like that, DPA. DPA, we're going to change that soon. And then we're going to go and to the ad set level. Of course, like always, remove audience network Instagram and right column. Product sets, all products. If you don't have this, you can just create one. I'll just go with all products, and then you just create it. It will take all the products in your store, okay, in case you don't have this. And then you're going to give it a budget of $10, okay, not $5. You're going to give it a budget of $10. Again, scheduling depending on the time of the ad account. And now you have options here. You can either, this is really, really user-friendly, because you can actually target people that viewed or added to cart but not purchases. You can target people that added to cart but not purchases in the last 14 days or 7 days or 1 day, depending on what you want. Now, what we want to do is we want to, depending on the revenue that you're making, you want to create enough retargeting ads to get those people back to you. So we're going to go with 7 days. This is the basic structure, guys. $10, 7 days viewed or added to cart but not purchase. Okay, so let me go here. 7 days, link clicks automatic, everything, we just keep it like that. And we're going to call the ad DPA, 7 days. View VC or no purchase. Okay, very simple. So we got it like that, and then we go to the ad level, and we start to create the ad. Now the ad, really simple. We're gonna go with the catalog, okay, just like this. And you want to, of course, pick your page and everything. So we do that. If I can find my page. Yeah, okay, I couldn't find the page. I just like took a random, just like my personal Facebook page. Of course, you want to use your store page. By the way, because we always do niche pages, you probably want to open one store page just so you have it for people that are looking for your store. That's one, or two, just to use these product to use these catalog ads. And what we do, we just write the very basic copy. Now the thing is that this is actually showing them the products that they've seen, okay, and telling them to come back and buy them. Because actually showing them the products that they've seen for them to come back and buy them. So it will be different for every person. Okay, it's a really powerful ad. Now we're just gonna write something like, hey, hey, I noticed you forgot your. Then we're just gonna put the name. We can actually put the product name. Forgot your product name in the cart. And this is really cool because it's actually talking directly to the customer. So, hey, I noticed you forgot your fire starter flint in your shopping cart. Come back to get it and receive 20% off your order today. Use coupon code, let's say get20 in checkout. And then of course you create this coupon in the checkout page. Okay, if you don't create this coupon in the checkout page, they won't have a coupon to use. So what we're actually doing here, we're actually sending an ad to people that have been through the product and haven't bought it, purchased it, and we're actually showing them again and telling them, hey, listen, don't forget it. Here's 20% off if you come get it now. So this is really powerful. This usually gets very high conversions because it's already for, it's not cold traffic, it's more hot traffic. And then of course you just put the website URL, .com, call to action, shop now, then of course track on conversions, and that's it. Okay, you don't have to copy this one by one, but I like to put something like, hey, I know I noticed that you forgot XYZ, which is the product, shopping cart. Come and get it now and use this coupon code to receive this amount off. It's really powerful because you're coming back to the customer, you're telling him, I've seen you've seen the product, you haven't bought it, come back and get it, use this coupon code and get this much of the discount. Okay, now after we finish the ad, I'm actually not done yet with the ad sets because we want one of these ad sets and we want to duplicate that. Okay, I created the ad first just to make it easier because now it's going to duplicate the whole ad set with the ad. We're going to duplicate that, and we're going to go and make an ad like this: added to cart but not purchased, 7 days. Okay, so now we have an add to cart, no purchase. So we have one view content or add to cart, no purchase, and now we have only an add to cart, no purchase. So we have both of these. And we just keep it exactly the same. Of course, when we change this, and that's it. Now, the more traffic you get, the more ads like this you want to create. So you'll have a 7-day. If you have, you always want to play with this. There isn't direct numbers to how many you want to put because sometimes you'll make money from it, sometimes you won't. So you'll start with these two ads. If these two are profitable, I recommend to duplicate them both, and then to give them 3 days. Okay, so instead of 7 days, we'll go with 3 days. So change this, 3 days, $10, but instead of this, we're just going to go 3 days, and then same thing. And then we're going to duplicate the other one as well. And then if that worked, we're going to go and duplicate this to 14 days and to 30 days, and so on and so on. Sometimes we can actually split it, mobile and desktop, male, female. If we really were making like a ton of money and we really want to retarget, it really depends on the amount of revenue that your store is generating. But the basic structure is what I talked about now. Okay, guys, so let me just take a drink of water. Talked a lot today. Okay, so I'm sure all of you have a ton of questions. I'm already telling you that I'll probably won't be able to answer everything because of the we're going to go over that in the Q&A. But let's see what we can do. First of all, give me a 4 if you enjoyed this session, because I really feel that this is probably one of the most intense amounts of value that you can get with Facebook ads. Because really using these techniques, you can literally take your campaigns to a whole other level. Really a whole other level. Excellent. I see a lot of 4s, a ton of 4s, ton of 4 plus 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 plus. Awesome. So let me go over a few questions here, and then we can wrap it up. So Ram is asking, Ben, do we have to wait a couple of days for the $50 ad set for Facebook to find people again? Basically, yes, but because it's a very big budget, it does it fast. So like I said, give it 2 days at a once, see what happens. Okay, don't close it after a day. Jackie is asking, does this work with flex targeting? Most of my ads state they are flex with 100K to 200K people. So with smaller audiences, that any audience below 300,000, 400,000, the way that I'll scale this is I won't go to $50 because $50 is a big budget for audiences that are small like that. I'll basically only do this for audiences that are over 300,000. For audiences that small, below 300,000, I'll basically increase the budgets slowly. So I'll go from $10 to $12, let that run for 24 hours. Then I'll go and I'll increase that to $15, and I'll do that slowly until I find a point where I'm still making money and still profitable, and the CPM is still good. So Nick is asking, on your scaling dog necklace PPE website conversion chart, what if one of them doesn't work? Do we just close it after a day and end the scaling there? So basically, yes, if the $50 mobile ad set doesn't work, and you've tried to reduce the bid and you've done everything and it just doesn't work, then yeah, the scanner will stop there. There's no reason to do a desktop. There's no reason to move on to more the angles, because that's basically the first one that should work. If that doesn't work, the other assets won't work. So it's like a structure. You start with this. If this works, you do this. If this works, you do this, and so on and so on. So Joe was asking, do you run the website conversion to the same PPE dark post using the post ID feature? Yes, same post. I actually saw your question, Joe, in the group. You remember, yes, it's basically you take the same ad, you take the same post, and the new ads will be directed to the same post. Okay, we use the same post because it has a bunch of likes, it has a bunch of shares, and we just use it for social proof. So Ronnie is asking, but if everyone raises their bidding, doesn't it become more competition and you have to keep raising the budget like a bidding war? Basically, that's why we start with the highest bid. We start with a $40 bid because $40 bid is basically the highest bid for a conversion, according to Facebook. So it doesn't really matter if somebody is bidding $70 or $100 or $300. It's going to be the same as bidding $40. So we bid that much. And if we're making profit X, and if we're not, we're going to reduce the bid. Okay, so that way, when we're reducing the bid, we're telling Facebook, okay, we're not willing to pay more than that for the purchase or add to cart, whatever the conversion is. So it's not really it's always going to be a bidding war, But for example, if you're making a ton of money from the budget with a high bid, it just means that you're winning the auction. Okay, the budget doesn't play a role with the bid. Okay, so the bid is the budget and the bid are two completely different entities. Can we do a manual bid to $40 on an initial PPE in order to get Facebook to get us more traffic for conversions? No, the manual bid will only work good with a website conversion ad. So Nick is asking, is there a formula for manual bids? $50 for a $40 bid. What about $100 to $500 budgets? Nick, same thing, $40 bid. $100, $500 budget, I'll do the same exact process that you just saw here. I'll still do a $40 bid. If it works, great. If it doesn't, I'll reduce the bid. Usually, if I start with a budget of over $150 to $200, I won't start with a $40 bid. I'll actually start with a low bid because it'll probably not be profitable with a $40 bid. Because unless it spends all the money and finds enough buyers to spend all the money and actually make a profit, I won't make a profit. So I'll probably start with budgets really high. I'll probably start with a low bid. Yeah, so Nick is asking, do you find the desktop duplicate ads do well? No, not at that level yet, but looking at my PPE website conversion results, and it's nearly 99.9% mobile on my normal ads. Not sure if Facebook optimization is screwed or not. Yeah, so like I said before, Facebook automatically decides where to show your ad, and because Facebook is showing your ad only to mobile, which all of you it probably is, that only means that Facebook isn't showing it to desktop, so you should probably check desktop. It only makes it more reasons to actually try it to do desktop, because people that are at Facebook, most of them are on their mobile phone. So that's why most people that go into your website are on their mobile phone. That's why I always emphasize on make your site look good for mobile, make your site good for mobile. So because Facebook sees people only going for mobile, it just mostly shows, it just tells you, listen, your ad is mostly to mobile, but just because most of the traffic on Facebook is mobile. What else do we have here? So Nick is asking, for the lookalike part, do we start off with view content always, or can we just jump to add to cart if we have both 1,000 view content and 300 adds to cart total on a niche? So when it comes to lookalike audience, there isn't something that's better than the other. Sometimes a lookalike view content is better, and sometimes the lookalike add to cart is better. I always try both of them. So I don't care if you have 1,000 purchases a day. I create a lookalike from the add to cart, and I create a lookalike from the view content, and I test the ads on both of them. Because a view content is sometimes much more powerful than an add to cart because it has so much more data. Okay, so it really depends on, it just depends on the split test. So during scaling, do scaling to lookalike audiences, do results usually drop compared to the first PetSmart ads and neglected audiences, or can it be even better? Yes, so most of the times, I'll be honest, it's the purchases are more expensive than the lower budget ads, but of course you're still making profit. So if you have a $10 ad that's making you purchases for $5 and you have a $100 ad that's making you purchases for $7, you're probably still okay with that. But sometimes the higher budget ads are actually making more money than the smaller budget ads. So yeah, sometimes it's like this, sometimes it's like this. Overall, what we care about is overall return on investment. So George is asking, how many days should I wait to see if my $10 ad set converts? So George, basically the whole session that I did last time, or 2 sessions ago, I don't remember, about the first ad sets, a PPE website conversion, I went through the process of if with the link clicks and the CPCs, and just like go over that, and you'll know. So Alon is asking, is the DPA the same as the retarget app? So yes, the retarget app uses DPAs, but I really strongly recommend you delete the retarget app because it basically installs another pixel in your store, and the way that they do their ads is they have a pixel for their whole system. So everybody that's using retarget app is using the same pixel basically. And it's just going to work less good than you just doing this by yourself. And it literally takes a few minutes like what you've seen here. So yeah, Ram is actually asking the same thing about the retarget app. Guys, don't use Retarget app. Just make your own DPAs. There's no reason to use Retarget app. So in retargeting, we would have a lower audience reach. Is that okay? Of course, your audience reach with a DPA with a retarget app is going to be, with retargeting, sorry, is going to be extremely low because you're targeting literally only a few hundreds of people depending on your traffic. So if I get one sale, should I start scaling after that one sale or several sales? Guys, we scale a product that for us is winning. One sale is not enough for us to know if the product is winning. Say a good indication is once the product hits about 10, 15 sales and it's profitable, then it's probably a product that's worth scaling. Okay, more people asking about Retarget app. I hope you understand not to use Retarget app. So Nathaniel is asking, how do you prevent overlapping? Basically, this is how you prevent overlapping. We're not going to target the same people, except on our $10 ad. But because it's such a low budget ad compared to the big ads, it's not really a threat to our bigger ads. And every big ad is targeted either to mobile, either to desktop, either to lookalike. Oh, by the way, thanks for reminding me, Nathaniel. Actually, almost forgot that. When you're targeting the bigger audiences, okay, so lookalike audience, you want to exclude the past audiences. Okay, so if we're going to target lookalike 1%, we actually want to exclude PetSmart. This way, we're not going to overlap on it. And when we're going to do lookalike 2%, we want to exclude the 1% and PetSmart. Okay, and so on and so on. How do you exclude? You just go to your audiences here. Now this is, yeah, I'm basically here with, yeah, okay. Yeah, so a regular ad, you want to go here and you just exclude people, and you can exclude the interests. Okay, so that's how you exclude. So Joseph is asking, if a successful PPE is made through a dark post, how can we use the same dark post for a website conversion ad? You basically take the page post that I talked about before, the page ID, and you copy it. Really simple. You shouldn't have an issue with that. So Jackie is asking, no purchase targeting. This is purchase targeting, but to the lookalike audiences of add to cart. Let me just take a sip of water. Okay. So yeah, so basically the purchase ad is, it's purchased, but the lookalike audiences are basically to the add to cart lookalike audience and view content. That's not an optimization, that's an audience. Okay, you will send a purchase or an add to cart conversion to those lookalike audiences. Do your ads end up looking like your dog necklace flowchart with everything running at the same time, or often as you get down the flowchart, you close many above? So Nick, again, if something is starting to lose money, I close it. What I mean by starting to lose money, if it's losing money for a few days, for 4 or 5 days straight, then I'll close it. But I literally had campaigns running with over 100 ad sets. So this can get really, really huge, and I'm not closing anything until that specific ad set is losing me money. So this is actually how my ad account will look like. So you have the add to cart or purchase, then this is the ad sets, budgets, automatic bids, manual bids, and so on. And yeah, guys, that's basically it. I actually was able to answer almost all the questions. And like I said, you'll probably have a ton more questions after you deal with this, and then I'll be able to answer you in the Q&A. And yeah, guys, this is insane, because this is actually the actual strategies to take your campaigns that are successful to insane levels. Next sessions will be all about email marketing, and we're going to talk about a little bit about product research as well, because I see some of you are having troubles with that. We're going to go over some other techniques as well, and more scaling strategies like other countries, more like how to do lookalike audiences correctly, and really to basically sharpen your blade as much as possible, guys. So thanks for joining me. Of course, like I said, this session is going to be available in the membership site in 24 hours. And I'm going to be publishing the, you're going to have, by the way, this chart in the members area as well, so don't worry about that. And I'm going to be publishing links for the next week as well. And that's it, guys. So good night, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you next time.